Hello everybody, it's me, your good friend Sparky, and welcome back to the Wii version of Pikmin on Challenge Mode. We are going to be heading to the Forest Navel for this particular part of Challenge Mode. And the Forest Navel, and Challenge Mode from my experience, there doesn't really seem to be like a lot of leeway when setting high scores. As you can tell, most of my high scores are actually pretty close together up there. Aside from that 326 up top, that is definitely the best I've ever done doing Challenge Mode on the Forest Navel. And beating it has always been kind of a task. I don't quite remember how I managed to get that many Pikmin grown in one day, honestly. And it's not necessarily because of the Forest Navel's sort of inherent difficulty carrying over from story mode or not. But, in fact, the Forest Navel is almost entirely empty, much like the impact site was. We just have a couple of enemies that are going to be wandering around, and one of them we get to see right away here. Our good old friend, the Potato Bug. And I think between all of the different Pikmin videos that I'm posting in the order that they're getting posted in, this might actually be the last time we see the Potato Bug, if I'm recalling correctly. And you know, that makes me a little sad. But we get to see him in all his glory, and then maybe someday when I move on to playing Pikmin 2 in some fashion, we'll get to see him again. Because there are several Potato Bugs in Pikmin 2. That's really where, honestly, the legacy of the Potato Bug started. That's where a lot of Pikmin things for me started, honestly. Because, yeah, I've played Pikmin 2 probably the most between the different versions of the game and such. Out of every Pikmin game, Pikmin 2 is definitely the one I've spent the most time with. Just because of the general structure of that game and how it expects you to play it. And, you know, that's just how it ends up working out, I guess. I'm not sure if, like, because of that, by default, I would consider Pikmin 2 my favorite Pikmin game. But I think it must be, right? Because I love Pikmin 1. Like, absolutely love it. One of my favorite games of all time. And Pikmin 3 is also absolutely excellent. But I feel like just because of the amount of time I've spent with Pikmin 2, and just the general structure of that game, I think Pikmin 2 might be my favorite Pikmin game. Again, it's hard to say, though. I always have trouble with that sort of thing sometimes, just picking out a favorite. I've got a couple of them down. Like, my favorite Mario game is Super Mario 64. My favorite Sonic game is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Both of which are videos and series up on the channel right now that you can go and watch. And I can talk about how much I like them in those videos. And, yeah. So, like, I can usually, if I give it enough thought, I can pick out, like, a favorite in a series. But then there's the subject of just, like, a favorite game ever. What is my favorite game? And I really don't know. It's honestly, I have an inherent love of all things gaming. It's honestly just a really difficult subject and answer to pin down for me. What is my favorite game? My favorite game series, I have been quoted as saying, is the Super Smash Bros. Series. So I would suppose one of my favorite game of all time would have to be one of the Super Smash Bros. Games. Which, coincidentally, Olimar is a part of. So, you know, full circle sort of thing, I guess. Well, Olimar didn't come into the series until Smash Bros. Brawl, because that was the Smash Bros. Game that was made first after Pikmin made its debut. Pikmin and Pikmin 2. I mean, honestly, my brain wants to default to Smash Ultimate, just because that game is absolutely excellent. And it's honestly weird to say that, though, because Smash Ultimate is such a recent game, and normally your favorite game, like, ever, would be, like, something from your childhood, typically. Or at least, logically thinking, you would expect it to be like that. But I guess that's not necessarily the case. Because, like, not all of my favorites come from, like, my childhood games. It's, like, more recent games, too. I've got a lot of favorites. It's, like, really good example, possibly, like, one of my favorite games ever, comes from the fairly recent, but not super recent at this point, release of Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. And I guess by default PlayStation 5 now, too. That game is so dang good. Just so excellent. Just like, oh my god, I could not get enough of that game, and I wish there was more to it. I came very close. I've almost got all of the PlayStation trophies for that game just because I played it so much and just wanted to play it forever. But yeah, at the same time, I still wouldn't call it like my favorite game of all time or anything like that, but it's pretty darn up there, honestly. Definitely one of my favorite PlayStation games ever. But yeah, my favorite game of all time, I'd like to say Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But at the same time, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Just thinking about it logically, thinking through the different Smash Bros. Games, I would honestly say the one I have the most emotional attachment to, like, the most reasons to call it my favorite game, would be Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And I know there might be people with pitchforks in the comments threatening my very existence just for mentioning Super Smash Bros. Brawl, mentioning it as having any kind of superiority over other Smash Bros. Games. But it's true. If I were to, like, logically whittle it down to, like, a fine point, my favorite game of all time would probably be Brawl. Because just, man, that game made such an impact on me. And it was just so excellent. It was, like, the very beginning of, like, the Super Smash Bros. Hype train that would rear up every time a new Smash Bros. Game was announced, with including characters like Snake and Sonic and all things like that, and Olimar. You know, expanding everything out to include more Nintendo properties and characters like that outside of the really big ones. But yeah, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, man. Very, very, very fond of that one. Very fond of that game. Coincidentally, the very game that introduced Olimar and the Pikmin franchise to Smash Bros. And then Pikmin 4 would add in Alf as sort of like an alternate costume character from Pikmin 3. And then Smash Ultimate didn't really add much in terms of Pikmin representation after that point, but, you know. It's fine. I honestly would have preferred Alf as sort of like an Echo fighter in Smash, like, maybe not in Smash Wii U, but by the time Ultimate came around, I would have preferred Alf to be upgraded to Echo fighter status of Olimar. Like, give him the Rock Pikmin in place of, like, Purple Pikmin or whatever. Just like, you know, give him some unique traits in comparison to what Olimar could do. It could have worked, but unfortunately that didn't really come to pass. And Olimar technically remains the, like, only the solo fighter representative of Super Smash, of the Pikmin franchise in Super Smash Bros. And hey there, Pearly Clamp Clamp. You're the only other real enemy in this map. Just you and the potato bug. And you have to stop every few seconds to whistle your yellow Pikmin out of the water so they stop drowning. And man, that Pearl just hung on by a molecule, didn't it? Just a sliver of health. But we got it. That is a solid 50 Pikmin for our faces to add to our total. And honestly, that Pearl really is kind of a deciding point with if you're gonna get on the high score list or not at this stage of the game. Because yeah, my high scores for the Forest Navel are pretty tightly packed together. So it really makes a difference, I'd say. And some more big pellets scattered around here. They sort of try and take care of. Honestly, going for, like, the really far away pellets, you want to try to make sure you get them done as early as possible, because there really is a very long, winding road that needs to be traversed in order to get anything back to the onions from this area. We, on the other hand, can take a geyser up and sort of take a shortcut back to camp and see what's going on there. Which is nice. It's very nice. We can try and take care of some more things. Got some blue guys back, got some yellow guys back. Here comes that tasty little Pearl. Hooray. Gonna be skyrocketing our point totals in just a second here. To the yellow onion it goes. And yeah, cool. But yeah, other than the Clamp Clamp and the Potato Bug, there's really not much here to really hinder our progress in any way, shape, or form. It is a pretty chillax time, honestly, just hanging out in the Forest Navel this time around. Quite the opposite from the story mode counterpart, which is just, you know, full of fire jets and fiery blowhogs and fire and all these obstacles in the way and everything trying to murder you and giant spiders that come down and try to crush you, and yeah. It's not a great time, honestly. But, you know, is what it is. This is a relatively relaxed experience in comparison to the story mode, and I appreciate it for that. A good opportunity to just kind of chill out and hang out and just enjoy the scenery. Sort of the calm nature of just an empty cave to explore. And I honestly, I've often thought that I wish I could just have, like, a wide open sort of empty area like this to explore. You know what I mean? Not necessarily like a cave per se, but like maybe like a big house that no one's been in for years or something like that. Just something with a lot of space and a lot of nooks and crannies to check out. And something that I would not be any kind of, like, physical danger while doing. That's the big thing. I would like to have a cool place to explore, but I also don't want any sort of, like, actual danger to myself, because that would suck. And then we get this bit of silliness, where, all these pellets are stuck on each other, and it's really dumb, and I hate it. And I honestly don't even totally understand what happened here, or, like, as everything is just, like, jam-packed all together in this opening, and I don't know how they got there. Honestly, I'm really having a hard time comprehending what the heck is going on, or, like, why they took the path to get to where they are here. Or, like, yeah, it's really confusing. It really is. I don't know how they all got stuck in that doorway like that. It really doesn't seem like they should have. It seems like they should have just, like, all been going in a straight line. Just kind of hanging, I don't know. I was really confused and frustrated when I saw that, because the sort of window for getting a high score on this map, as it is already pretty tight. And we were approaching the end of the day. We're approaching kind of the last few moments of this challenge mode map. And we do end up getting these back, thankfully, at the very least. 10 to the blues, a 10 to the reds, and a 20 to the yellows. And 10 seconds remaining. I don't know if it's actually seconds. 10 units of time remaining. I don't think it's actually seconds. It seems a little slow to be seconds. But then again, the passage of time is a confusing sort of thing, so who really knows? I can never really tell. But regardless, we do actually manage to get that last 20 pellet back, even though everything was congested at that point, and it seemed like it just wasn't going to happen. We do manage to finish with one of the high scores. Not the high score, but we get to take off from the Forest Navel. Our last visit to the Forest Navel, overall. Knowing that we did, in fact, accomplish growing a heck of a lot of Pikmin. The score counts up over the 200 mark, up over the 300 mark to 307 Pikmin, giving us second place on the high score list, which ain't too bad, honestly. I'm pretty happy with that result, and I hope you are too. So that's gonna wrap it up for right now. Thank you very much for watching. This is your good friend Sparky signing off, and I will catch you next time.